All right, we're going to have a conversation, continue a conversation with Representative Scott Cepicky live from T-Line coming up in just a moment because according to Ken Weaver, Scott's going nowhere because the traffic is a parking lot. Do I have that about right there,
yes,
Ken
sir.
Weaver? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, nastiness out there if you're out and about. It's 7 minutes after 5 o'clock. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Show this Thursday, February the 12th. Thank you for being with us on episode 976. Jackson has taken the microphone and tells me that he has an announcement to make, and I'm just happy that I see some movement out of you over there, Jay Willie. Oh, wait, hold on. Jackson is now going to figure out how to turn his microphone up.
There we
One more.
Almost. Am I there?
Yeah, you sound good now there, Jackson.
All right, I have an announcement to make. For the next 30 minutes,
Bum, 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 bum.
Scott Cepicky is the executive, soon-to-be erstwhile producer of the Matt Murphy Show, and I will be curling.
Oh, is that it? Oh, and he just took off it. He just took off his headset and he's leaving. Where are you going? Okay,
Jackson sets his own hours.
No, he's really going curling, Ken.
That is a YouTube video waiting to happen.
100%.
Do they still have that thing like America's Funniest Home Video?
100%.
I'll split it with y'all.
Let me tell you something. Hey, Joseph, get me video. I want video of you on the ice.
Because Jackson makes me look small.
Jackson's a big old fella.
He's a big boy.
And, I feel like if Jackson got some momentum going down that ice, there would be no stopping him at that back wall.
Is this segment sponsored by the Ken Weaver Ray of Sunshine Good News broadcast? Because he's just been Debbie Downer today.
I'm just throwing out there. I just do the news, boys.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do the traffic on occasion.
Yeah, I do the traffic, too.
And the traffic is no good?
It's not. Well, look at this. Look at that map. That's
a lot of
angry.
red. Yeah, it's a lot of
That
angry
is
red.
Angry. That looks like a surgery table.
If you were a weatherman, you'd be busy right now because
Yeah,
it's all
no
red.
good.
Yes, exactly.
That's no good. Speaking of the weather,
Yes, sir.
any further thoughts since we spoke last on what we need to do regarding Nashville Electric? I know I've got a former councilman that's around here somewhere, and I'm going to talk to Robert Swope in a moment about his thoughts on it because I feel like he can speak fairly openly about the role of the council versus the mayor versus the board of directors at NES. Is there conversation going on in the halls of the General Assembly about what to, if not specifics, do you need to do something? Is there a feeling that something needs to be done?
Yes, 100%. I think the feeling there is this was mismanaged entirely by NES leadership. We don't blame any of the employees. It's the leadership that had this all staged and ready to and not ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then day after day of not telling people what's going on, you can't just. There's a good friend of mine that owned a business, and because their power was out, all of the food they had spoiled, had to throw it all out. They may go out of business because of this.
Oh, no.
Wow.
And so
That's bad.
That's the problem. And in the General Assembly, and I know, Matt, we are very careful about poking our nose where it shouldn't be.
It's true. I'll give you credit.
But this is oversight that may need to come into play to right the ship.
Well, and I spoke with Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton about it the other day, and he introduced the concept because there's been a lot of chatter about whether or not the state should, quote-unquote, take over to promote regionalization.
Like a co-op.
But Cameron brought up the concept of the co-op and specifically brought up Middle Tennessee Electric, which is a co-op. I wasn't aware of that. I was on Middle Tennessee Electric for a long time when I lived in Mount Juliet. Worked fine, never had an issue with and the rates seemed to be relatively fair, relatively low. Nashville Electric, perhaps that would bring the ratepayers a little bit closer to the decision makers, which is my goal. At least they will have a say if something goes wrong like this in management moving forward.
Well, as you know, we're not talking about anybody but NES right now.
Right.
That other electric company did an outstanding job. They were prepared. They were ready to go. And when you get into this regionalization concept or this co-op concept, you mitigate risk over scale, right? You allow people to share assets back and forth to help when things go south. And so I know my relationship with the speaker a lot revolves around education, But I've seen him mad a few times, Matt, and he was mad. And when he gets mad, things are going to happen because he has the title of Speaker of the House. Things are going to happen, and I'm probably pretty sure that Lieutenant Governor McNally, not speaking for him, but I know him, I'm probably rest assured that he was not happy either.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, it makes a sense that something needs to be done, particularly considering in the aftermath of all of this, there was a way, even through the mismanagement during the storm, there was a way to communicate with the people in a way that made them feel better.
Yeah.
You know, if you own up to your mistakes, if you take responsibility for said mistakes, if you talk about things that happen, even in real time, that were done wrong and things that you need to do to correct those things. And I was just talking to former Councilman Swope, and he was like, well, I don't want to jump too far and say that people need to get fired. I was like, well, I just want someone to take responsibility and say this was on me and I failed in this way, and I'm going to guarantee that none of that happens again. And I've yet to hear that.
If the leaders of NES would have come out on the front end and said, we apologize, we were not prepared for the severity of this, we understand you're frustrated with us, but when you don't get that, Matt, and then you're sitting in your house that's dark and you get a text from NES that congratulations, your power's back on, and you're sitting in the dark,
right?
There's a disconnect there. Sometimes you got to walk in there and own it. You got to walk in there and say, you know what, we made a mistake, we apologize, but you know what, we're going to get it fixed. And NES has yet to go in there and do that. Admit fault and say, we apologize, but we will get it fixed.
And another aspect that I think indicates to me that new leadership is needed, in the aftermath of this, one would think that NES would recognize, hey, we need a communications team. We need a group of people that are specifically designed to respond to ratepayers, to speak directly to those people who have been impacted by this negatively, and to assure them that while mistakes were made in the past, we're on top of it now, we're going to fix those mistakes and make sure they never happen in the future. Instead, they're spending ratepayer money to lobby y'all.
That's correct.
I mean, do you know Mark Cat or Kate?
I've heard the name.
I mean, he and apparently, according to the Tennessee Star, and I'm looking at an article that they wrote today, that the Nashville Electric Service is now being represented by Mark Kate, who previously served as chief of staff to former Governor Bill Haslam, and he now works as a political strategist, and he was hired to lobby the legislature to prevent the legislature from making wholesale changes to NES. So they're investing time, money, and energy in protecting themselves instead of solving the issues and assuring the customer base that the issues have been solved.
What do you say to that, right? Can you be more out of touch with the people?
There's all they're interested in is
protecting their six-figure salaries.
CYA.
That's it.
That's right.
So.
All right, so I think we've covered everything that's happening in the legislative session, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, I mean, Sapicki, you've only got about an hour and a half to get home, right?
Thanks, Ken.
We blame Weaver.
Hey, you know what? Maybe I can call Bill Fields and he'll get me home.
Billy.
No, you can't.
Bill Fields.
It's my understanding that if you have a particular type of gyrocopter, it does not count as aircraft, and I'm like 2 miles away from the Murray County Regional Airport. There's a fancy airport in Murray County. I don't know if you knew this or not, Ken.
Brand new.
It's gorgeous.
We got a fancy airport in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, one of those gyrocopters, they don't even count that as aircraft, Ken.
Hey, just before I sign off here, we did get the preliminary audit, Rebecca, from Memphis school system.
Yeah.
We're going to have to allocate an additional $1.7 million because the company that we hired, the comptroller hired to do this audit, they said they've never seen something as bad as Shelby County school system.
Wow.
The data, the records, the lack of everything is the worst they've ever seen, ever in the nation.
What?
That's how bad it is.
So what do you that leads to?
I am hoping
complete state takeover?
I am hoping that we will pull the trigger, but more. It's a takeover, but it's a takeover via a governing board. That we appoint a governing board to run that school system in cooperation with the Department of Education and the comptroller to get their finances. We can't find money that's supposed to be somewhere.
Look, I'm saddened that the local leadership.
It's your money.
Well, that's right.
It's our money.
Well,
Yeah.
You see the way that local leadership handled crime
Yes.
in that community. And they repeatedly told us, oh, well, if we had more resources, if we had this, that, or the other thing, we could take care of it. But what are we supposed to do? They kind of shrugged their shoulders like that meme, the shrugging guy. Well, lo and behold, the state utilizes resources from the federal government, which was always available to them,
Right.
and we're cleaning up crime
Yes.
in Memphis. I feel like you can do the same thing in the school systems in Memphis.
100%. And then what we did was, in the governor's State of the State, everybody talked about, well, what happens when we pull back out? The vacuum, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have 50 more state troopers that we're going to allocate this year who will be down in Memphis to make sure that the crime doesn't come back, so we can set the people of Memphis free from crime and let Memphis go back to the way it used to be when we were young kids.
How much would it cost us to get Scott Sapicki out on the ice?
Well,
That might be the hardest question I've ever asked Sapicki.
I am fighting not doing it. If I didn't have my suit on, I guarantee I'd be curling.
It's
after
in
this.
his blood. It's in his blood.
I wasn't bad at this when I was young.
I want to say.
I know the twisting, I know the
I
thing.
feel like we could
remember,
twist a few arms here.
Well, here's the problem: is if Ken Weaver would say there's no traffic between here and Vanderbilt University Hospital, I might do it. But I have a wife I have to go home to,
right?
and she would not want to come to Vanderbilt to visit me.
I bet you in 3 minutes I could get you a guaranteed medevac. What do you think?
I don't think you could.
No? Okay. Well, we'll give it a go.
There's no speaker standing next to me.
Sapicki, it's always
He can get there. I can't.
Cameron, that was Scott Sapicki that said that, not Matt Murphy. You're saying that with his detail, he could he could zip on down the
They
road.
can get where they got to get to.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing you in the General Assembly. I will have I will have the handkerchief for you when you hear summer study.
See, Sapicki's messing with me. He doesn't realize I'm back channeling this thing. I'm working the back room.
Oh yeah, you are.
Oh yeah, I'm. You
backing your way up to summer study.
You got to go. You got to go to those shadowy back rooms where they smoke those big long cigars, Ken. That's where you got to get things done. That's how those politicians do things.
Ken, if this bill passes, I think there's a mountain lion as a pet in your future. Liberty,
freedom. Liberty. See, there's a big nanny state conservatism right there. Scott Sapicki, Super Talk.
Guys.
Thank you, bud.
20
after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Back in a moment.
Awesome, man.
Don't mess with my bill. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 24 minutes, almost 25 past 5 o'clock. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're not stuck in traffic. If you're stuck in traffic, why not come see us?
Yeah, you hop off I-40.
Yeah.
Right there at White Bridge Pike.
204B.
204B. Quick left on Robertson Avenue, and then a right on Duluth, and you're here with us.
Yeah, and you can
Robertson Road.
And you can hang around well after 7 o'clock. We'll be here at 7, and after that, we're probably going to be taking Jackson to the emergency room.
Yeah, Brother Jackson's curling, from what I understand.
It is. I got $5 that big man's hitting the ice. That's all I'm saying. Hold on a second. Oh, they're giving some. They give you instruction. I mean, those
Volume's good.
Those stones are 42 pounds.
42 pounds, Brother Murphy.
Do you know how much one costs?
No, I do not.
$600.
Bell, that's a pretty good guess. According to the nice lady out there on the ice, $1,000 a piece.
Son of a biscuity.
That's a lot of money. And they all come from one quarry in Scotland.
That is an expensive set of stones.
Yeah.
Speaking of a big set of stones, Robert Swope is here. How about that for a transition?
How you doing, Matt?
That's a good segue.
Former Nashville Metro Councilman Robert Swope, one of the good guys that was there for a while, and he was smart enough to get out. How's it going?
I did my 8 years. Loved every second of it. Even loved the 3 a.m. in the morning calls saying my cat's stuck up a tree.
I bet you didn't miss it last week.
No. I got to live through, I think, 2 tornadoes, derecho winds.
Yes, I remember that.
And a few other natural disasters.
Well,
the bombing.
Yeah.
Christmas morning, I'm up stuffing a turkey at 5:30 in the morning, and the phone's ringing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, it's Christmas. What's up?
That was what was up.
I'll tell you what. We had our own, series of mishaps to overcome. But this one, I think this one hit everybody hard.
I mean, you still have your pulse in your on the thumb, or your thumb on the pulse of the district. Was it as frustrating in your district as it was in other areas?
I will tell you this: our district was one of the hardest hit because we left our tree canopies.
Well, and I give benefit of the doubt in that regard, or at least I've tried to. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, if you have that many trees, you should expect that the ice is going to bring down some of those limbs.
That's exactly right.
But you can't do both. You can't keep the canopy and not prepare for the limbs to come down, and that was the frustration that many people had.
And literally, if I was still on council, I'd probably, in fact, I would be in defense of NES right now, in this single sense that while they prepared, they didn't prepare for the kind or the intensity of the ice storm that we had. You prepare a little bit, knowing that there's a little bit of ice coming and a little bit of snow, and those kind of balance each other out, and everybody lives through it. This was one of the worst ice storms we've had in 50 years, probably 60 years. And as a consequence, it wasn't just the trees and the limbs down in neighborhoods. It was their own internal infrastructure that got hammered, much more so than they ever expected. So, you can plan all you want. Every now and again, God just hands you a bad set of vibes, and you got to look at it and say, okay, how do we get through this?
Well, I would push back a little bit in as much as it did not seem to impact other electrical services and other electrical companies in the same fashion that it impacted NES. And I hear the NES people say, well, but we got hit harder than the other places. But, I mean,
we did. And listen, I'm not defending any person at NES, but I know a lot of linemen at NES. And I'm telling you, they didn't expect this. I mean, the people on the ground, the guys that actually do this, and the girls that do this.
Well, how the hell did I know about it? I mean, how did the dude yapping on the radio know that the ice was coming, and the people whose job it is to keep the electricity on didn't?
Well, we didn't know there was this much ice on it.
Okay,
it's just that simple.
I mean that.
And I'm not one, having been through multiple disasters, including Typhoon Ragasa, which I lived through in Hong Kong this past, September.
That's a humble brag. He's over in Hong Kong.
Well, I was racing. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, at some point you just got to look at the whole thing and say, listen, I was out of power for 5 days. My whole neighborhood was. My whole district was. Former district. My shop, which is right down the street from where we're at right now, was out of power for 10 days. Now, that's a huge loss to me. I don't have 18 people working for me, but I couldn't do business for 10 days.
Do you believe that people will be held responsible in terms of the board or the CEO, or do you think that it sounds like you want to give them some grace.
I do want to give them some grace. I think everybody needs a little grace. The best laid plans of mice and men are doomed to failure. That is a very, very famous and infamous line, actually. And at some point, no matter how aggravated or pissed off you get, you've got to look at the whole situation from a higher standpoint or a higher altitude and say, okay, this was worse than anybody thought it was going to be.
Except for the guy yapping on the radio and every other electrical company.
Well, except for you, because you're Nostradamus.
And MTE.
You're Mastradamus.
And MTE and Columbia Power and Water and Duck River Water and Cumberland.
But none of those got hit near as hard as Davidson County did.
That's garbage. No, y'all got hit harder because you let the canopies grow up in the way that you did over the last 4 years.
Well, to be honest with you, as a private resident in this county now, I want my tree canopy. And if that means that I got to lose power for 5 days once every 50 years,
then you're cool with it.
I'm good with that.
You're good with that.
I am good with that.
Well, most of the residents of Nashville, Tennessee, aren't.
I
Robert.
understand.
They aren't, and they want heads to roll.
Well,
they want because I don't get to go down. if my grocery store fails me, I can go down to the other grocery store down the street.
I understand.
Where do I go to get electrical power now that NES has failed the citizens of Nashville?
Well, you can go to Generac.
What the flip attitude that you're presenting here
I'm sorry.
is insulting to the people that lost power and lost their lives in Davidson County. Period.
Well, I lost it too.
You didn't lose lives.
No,
People
I didn't.
died, Robert.
And that
People
is
died. You're a friend of mine. I'm just
extremely
telling you, people.
unfortunate.
Yeah, and some people died as a result of the cold because they didn't have power. Because people like Teresa Broyles Applin failed them, and you're like, well, Canopy. I don't get it. We got to go to news. I don't want to yell at my friends. I love Robert. I'm yelling at the wrong people.
Okay, promise me after the
Robert.
news we talk about something that's less
Hong
controversial.
Kong. Hong Kong. Can we talk about Hong Kong?
Amen.
Because you drove a Studebaker.
Hong Kong, Beijing,
All right.
Studebaker.
I'll calm down. I need to be happy. I need to get me some brown water. It's time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 19 minutes until 6 o'clock. We are at T-Line in Nashville. Man, what a great place. What a gorgeous place. They got regular old bowling going on. They got a lot of folks doing some bowling. They got all kind of food and drink being served up in the restaurant/bar area. And
There's a
then,
whole bunch.
then the show is happening back here on the ice there, Ken Weaver. We got a lot of activity out there curling, and I just went out there doing your newscast. And I told Jackson, I said, since you've been out here, curling looks a lot like standing. He goes, well, they're teaching us how to do it, Murphy. And then he said, are we doing nincompoops? Y'all need to wait on nincompoops. I got a good one. So that's my Jackson impersonation.
That's actually a pretty good impersonation.
Murphy, don't do nincompoops yet. I'm still on the ice. So we are holding off on
God, that
nincompoops.
sounded accurate.
Jackson got a lot funnier when I realized he sounds like an old Southern grandma. Y'all get out of that backyard. Y'all stop messing with them dogs.
Stay off my porch.
Give me a switch. Former Councilman Robert Swope is still with us, and we're going to stop yelling at one another and start laughing with one another because you did something, dude. Have you heard about this, what he did, kid? His Studebaker?
Oh, yeah, I was listening to you guys.
Okay, so tell everyone about this Studebaker adventure.
Hey, I'll start by saying www.studebakerchronicles.com.
Okay.
And it'll tell you the whole story. But a year ago, about a year ago, we decided we were going to run my 63 Studebaker Grand Turismo Hawk in the Hong Kong to Beijing Rally, which has been going on for 40 years. They killed it for...
really, who hasn't? I mean, come on. No, I'm just kidding. Go.
Well, they killed the rally for 15 years. Mao Zedong did because it became an absolute free-for-all. And a good friend of mine is one of the vice marshals of the Hong Kong Rally and Marshal Drivers Club who throws the rally every year.
Uh-huh.
And he called me up and said, we're bringing the rally back on the 40th anniversary of it. And I said, I'm in. He said, what are you running? I said, a 63 Studebaker. And he went, no. You know you're competing against Mercedes and Porsche and Audi and BMW and it's Mitsubishi and all that. I said, yeah. I said, but correct me if I'm wrong. You've never had an American car enter this rally. Correct. In 40 years.
Wow.
You've never had an American team race this rally in 40 years. Correct. I said, good, I'm there. So we built the car in 7.5 weeks because I wrecked mine. And that's a whole other story for another day. Built the car in 7.5 weeks. I threw my dad and some tools and some clothes in the trunk, and we ran the hot rod power, tore to shake down the car because it was brand new. We built it from the frame up. Mm-hmm. Shook it down, tweaked some things for a month. Then I put it on an airplane in Chicago, flew it to Hong Kong because I didn't trust it being on a boat, getting there in time for the rally. Flew it to Hong Kong.
You go coach or business class with that thing?
The car, for the price it cost, was beyond first class. I think I could have bought a jet cheaper than it cost me to ship that car over there.
I'm not going to ask. I just don't want to know.
You don't.
I can't imagine.
Just think small house.
Okay.
And my retirement fund is gone. But it was my 60th birthday last year.
Yeah.
So this was my 60th birthday present to myself. And believe it or not, my wife just looked at me and said, "When do you leave?" And I went, "Oh, you're kidding me. I love you, baby. And I will continue to love you for the rest of my life for what you're letting me do." So we flew the car to Hong Kong. Me and Mike Murian, my navigator, flew over there, picked it up, went through unbelievable pains, getting a driver's license, getting Mike's visa, getting the car out of Hawk into Hong Kong airport, which was astoundingly ridiculous.
So I don't even know. Let me pause for a second. What does it take to get into China? I mean, I guess, just a passport and entry into the event?
No, you have to get a visa to China.
Yeah.
Hong Kong's a different thing. An American passport will get you into Hong Kong, but it will not get you into mainland China. China is still a third world CCP-run
Hong Kong's,
dictatorship.
I guess Hong Kong, my knowledge of this is very limited, but Hong Kong used to be part of the British Empire, but they handed it back to China, but
in
they still
1999.
It's still kind of a separate
Hong Kong
thing.
still is pushing back so hard against the CCP in China, in Beijing, it's stupid, which has created an unbelievable hardness between the Hong Kong, because half of Hong Kong is on the mainland. So when you go through the border from Hong Kong to China, it's not one border crossing, it's two. You cross out of Hong Kong into a no man's land, and then you have to enter China, which is insane when you're driving an American-made car, a Studebaker, that has never been in China. We had the first Studebaker ever to run the roads in China.
Wow.
Ever in history. So as a consequence, we raced from Hong Kong to Beijing, 6 timed events, which are time, speed, distance rally things, and 3 speed events, 1 on a dirt track. We placed 3rd overall.
All right.
Out of 40 cars.
How about that?
Way to go.
Which was
That's
completely astounding. I never expected it. But I told my navigator, Mike, at the onset of this, I said, listen, these kinds of things, time, speed, distance rallies, are all about consistency. You don't have to win every single leg of this. You've got to be in the top 10. Because I guarantee you, there'll only be 3 cars at the end of this that stay in the top 10 for all 12 events over the course of 7 days.
Right. It's all about endurance. It's all about.
Exactly. So as a consequence, we showed up in Beijing and we won 3rd, and I, Mike and I cried for a day and a half. It was such a relief, and then we trucked the car back to Shenzhen, which is still mainland China, and I put it in a box and I put it on a boat, and I shipped it across the Pacific to Long Beach, California. Went out to Long Beach, and I had to spend 8 days in Compton.
But that was fun.
Let's just say I don't have an MS-13 tat, but I'm welcomed because you either make friends or you're dead.
Yeah, sure.
So as a consequence,
why do you have to stay that long? To clear customs?
Because customs didn't want to let my car back into the country.
Wow.
And I went, "Oh, you got to be kidding me. I've just gotten this thing into the hardest country in the world to import into anything, and you won't let it back?"
Are they looking over it thinking it's got drugs stuffed in there somewhere or something?
I have absolutely no idea.
Interesting.
That's kind of cool.
Anyway, so I finally got it back and drove it back across America on Route 66, and then it was a featured car at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in Chicago, and it spent the half of November, December, and most of January at the Studebaker National Museum in South Bend, Indiana. And I've just gotten it back like 2 weeks ago, and I missed my baby. Her name's Sophia, by the way. My dad named her.
Yeah.
As in Sophia Loren.
Well, she didn't let you down. That's
Italian designed, American made. And yes, I flew Old Glory on her antenna the entire way across China.
The event, it's an endurance race, but you're stopping at, how far was it? How long?
It's 5,800 kilometers, which is like 3,600 miles.
So how many days did it take?
6.5.
And so you have pre-scheduled stops along the way?
Every you're going from city to city.
Right.
And then within that route, there are timed segments that are competitions, right?
Oh, I see.
And you have to run.
Once you get to this point, their time starts. And
correct.
Right.
And then we raced on 3 incredibly good tracks. One was a dirt track. And I actually managed to take 3rd place on a dirt track with a 63 Studebaker against 40 rally drivers. And the other 2 were world-class. Zhengzhou International Circuit is a, 2.5 miles road track, but it has almost a 400 feet elevation change during the road course. And I slung that old girl around and took 6th place out of 40 cars.
Dang.
Which ain't bad for a car that's 21 feet long.
My brother is listening to this, and he says the irony to this story is they allowed a diesel generator to come in from China at the same port of entry that wasn't even compliant with the Clean Air Act.
Yes. And they wouldn't let my Studebaker back in. I was like, are you kidding me? Anyway, bottom line is everything.
That's fun.
We filmed everything. In fact, we shot 31 terabytes of footage from the beginning of the build through.
Is that online on your website?
StudebakerChronicles.com, just like it sounds, Studebaker. And Studebaker is Studebaker for those of us for those people that aren't old enough to remember what a Studebaker was.
I don't even know when they stopped. Do you know when they stopped making Studebaker?
1963.
Yeah.
Actually, Studebaker went out of business December 20th, 1963. They still made Studebakers, but it wasn't Studebaker making them. It was General Motors, and they were assembled up at the GM plant in Toronto. That lasted until 66. Was the last, I want to say it was a Daytona Lark was the last one made. Now, Avanti was a whole different ball game. Avantis were brand new in 63, much like a Corvette, fiberglass bodied, not sussed out. Studebaker basically sold the rights to make Avanti to a private group in South Bend, Indiana, and they made Avantis for a couple of years, and then that all fell apart.
What are you working on a car now? You doing anything with?
My 77 Corvette called Full Tilt is in paint. I have a 76 International Scout completely tore apart in my shop at the moment. And it's going back kind of
that's the one that's the one he's going to sell me, Ken.
Oh, well.
That's what I hear.
No. This one's the client's grandfather's truck that he bought brand new, and I'm restoring it. And I've got a 73 Trans Am that we just got in.
Nice.
My navigator, Mike Murian, who I will say, I've said it 100 times on camera, I'll say it again. He's the best navigator I have ever raced with. Unbelievable sense of direction. We had a blast in China, but he got the car bug between China and the Muscle Car Corvette Nationals in Chicago. He literally, on the way back from Chicago, he says, I got to buy a car. I got to buy a car.
Well, he's not a car. He's a navigator, but he's not a car guy?
No, he's not a car guy.
Huh. Well,
he's one of the best television guys I've ever met, and that's how we met. He worked for me for decades, and then he started his own company when I went into politics. But he bought a 73 Trans Am out of California, had it shipped to my shop, and it has one bad to the bone 455 stroker in it. This thing pounds the ground. I mean, pounds the ground. So let's just say I'm putting
about 4.5, 5 miles to the gallon.
We're going to say if he's lucky.
Yeah,
he's lucky.
Is it 4-barrel?
It's if you could have twin 4 barrels, this engine couldn't drink enough. Let's just put it that way.
One of those. You put your foot to the floor and you can just watch the gas meter roll down.
Correct.
Right.
But yeah, I just got in like 10 days ago, and I'm playing with it right now, just tweaking it out and changing other people's. It was built as a drag car.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it back as a street car. And
well,
nice.
give several people want to know the website again so they can go look.
www.StudebakerChronicles.com.
There's Robert Swope. Thank you, Robert. We appreciate you. It's 54 after the hour. Got to take a quick break. And then Poops in the news is on the way in the 6 o'clock hour right after the real news, and that's coming up next.